Whatever. I'm ready.
Well, here we are. Welcome. Let me press live on Instagram too. We're multi-streaming, dual streaming over here in the DayLife Army. I was just talking to YouTube. Welcome to another all day with ATM. That's me, DayLife Mary.
Are you gonna spend the whole
and
day with
Jesus.
us? All day.
No, you're not going to spend all day
We're
with
doing
us.
18 hours.
Excuse me. All day is just the name of this day of the week in the Pleasure Matrix new time calendar. All day is when we go live.
Are we live everywhere?
Yeah, we're on Instagram and YouTube.
Lit up.
And we look better on Instagram.
Do we?
We do. This is not
because Mark Zuckerberg's algorithm just, I wasn't even ready. Now I'm ready.
Well, welcome to the live, everybody. Yeah, is that your thing? Is that going to be your thing?
That's
having
my
3
prop.
tennis balls?
It's my prop.
Okay. Well,
I'm on a clown WhatsApp group for clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I'm an active member of the group, but I'm in
you're
a lot of WhatsApp
you're in there
groups
to try and get numbers from people.
For clowns as well.
Okay. We have a few things to get to today. We're going to go over a series that we're doing together about DLA careers from past to present. And Jesus over here is going to get into his series, Lyung Tu Jews, his favorite thing to talk about.
I love it.
Maybe one day he'll get to the heart of the matter. He has 6 more episodes to try, so we'll see.
No, do not disturb on this one.
Yeah, I gotta do that. I'm gonna do that. Alrighty.
Yeah.
I was gonna do something right. Well, first of all, if you are watching this live, or if you end up watching this later, why don't you make a wash? You can make. Well, we would recommend, and most people start with a dual wash. One will get you kind of a little high or go low, and then the other will bring you back up again or bring you back down to earth. A financial and a social wash. So you can make financial washes to the automat in multiples of 12, to cash.me/washitall, paypal.me/washitall. And
kind of monkeyish right now.
Okay, we got a monkey over here. Then we have social washes, which you can, once you make a financial wash, you can get a social wash to complete after, which usually is posting of some sort that tags some DayLife affiliated account that goes into your own experience washing or talking with DLA or following what DLA does. Honest opinions, positive, negative, neutral, etc., whatever. It's not an advertisement, it's a social wash, so it can be positive, negative, it can be crazy, whatever you want.
We're not Scientologists, we don't come after our critics.
No, we do talk to our critics. We try and have a social time here on the internet sometimes, if it makes sense.
If it serves the purpose.
It serves the Pleasure Matrix. I guess what I wanted to ask you a question, Jesus. I'm going to preface this question. So this is a little insight into some ATM goings-ons, but you have been posting a lot of 1 minute and 30-second reels to Instagram lately.
The feedback is that's going really well.
Yeah, and part of that reason is, as a person, and bad boys are like this in general, which is the day type that he is, no. And he's a narcissist, so there's a lot of things cooking there together.
A hot pot is a stewing.
But one thing that he has a horribly hard time doing is losing face.
Don't want to do it.
And for someone, I would say, I'll speak to my experience of losing face. It's not hard for me to lose face, but it's not actually losing face. I'll be self-deprecating or something, or I'll be able to be like, yeah, I'm like doing so bad at this or that or whatever. But it's like not good for my day type, and it doesn't work. It's not actually losing face. For this guy, he desperately needs to like learn how to actually lose face honestly, which means like really saying what is going on with him, not lying, and lying has so many flavors with him, not sugarcoating the truth, not leaving out key contextual parts, not leaving out literal key details of his story. And the face loss videos that he's been posting are basically just like random assortment of topics, and just saying something that's losing face. So it is honest or going into the nitty-gritty details or saying something that's vulnerable or giving up information, which it's very hard for him. So yeah, they're not so hot. They're not going so well. He's yawning. See, he's trying to escape this, even this conversation. He's clearing his throat over me. So I wanted to do a live face loss with you, and I'm just gonna just like beep or go like or go like that is a lie when you're getting off, and like.
Well, give me a good topic. Don't make it a bad.
Oh,
topic.
I will. The topic is whiz, general whiz, because I think that the audience is always so curious where general whiz is.
What about the other ones? Like, don't I have like one?
Oh, you don't want to do the one I assigned you? Imagine that. Looks like I picked a good one. So I will just be here as your like little face loss thermometer. And when you hear me, you can redirect, okay? So we're going to go on the clock, and it will probably be more than 1:30 unless you do it perfectly and I don't do any beeps or whatever. Okay?
What are the guidelines? What would you like me to speak about?
The topic is very broad. It's literally just on your relationship with, or general whiz in YouTube.
I think I broke it.
Yeah. So when I'm not going to give you specifics, but I think you'll know how to veer back onto something or get closer when I'm, all right. And you can't contest. That's another thing. Contesting.
What's contesting?
Being like, hey, that's not true, or like that's not a lot. Like, what do you mean I'm lying right now? I'm telling the truth.
I'll wink at the camera when it's as a form of contesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Only you'll know.
All right.
Nonverbal.
All right, you may begin.
Okay, whiz. General whiz. I joined DayLife Army because I had a conversation with General Wiz at one point where he told me, while we were talking about this, it was just when I think I just negged General Wiz super hard, and he had blocked me or unfriended me. Like, our relationship and the beginning of like my relationship to DayLife Army and Temple was like me getting blocked and unblocked and be unfriended and friended by Wiesel on Facebook. And it really hurt. Like, I hated it. And it always was like happened at the right vulnerability time where it was like an effective thing that like whenever it would happen, it was usually when I would do something, that was, I don't know, a stupid thing to do. I remember there was this one time around, it was like this person on Facebook named Rafia was posting something. I think Wiz commented on the post, or Rafia commented on my post, and then Wiz commented on that, and I told Wiz to like shut up, Wiz, like in front of her, and he unfriended me, and I was like, no. I got unfriended. So then I went and I was like talking to him. And this was a point where I was like really needing a change in my life. And we talked about DLA and how, or just, Temple DLA, and how this was the next thing. And I really didn't want to miss out on the next thing because I had been, I had tried to be a seed investor in a few things in my life that I missed out on. And this was kind of like a thing where I'd have a chance to do that again. So the reason I kind of came here and did this and joined a crazy cult and did the whole thing was like, I wanted this to be an opportunity for what? What's not true?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just doing my errands.
What's not true?
I told you I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to go,
Well, that's all I have to say, because that is absolutely true, what I was saying.
refuting.
Okay, well, we've come to an impasse. I don't know what to tell you. What's not true about the
Continue.
I don't know what to say.
Roll with it, bro. This is also because you're so fucking bitchy about getting any like negative feedback that I'm like,
what's
can you
the negative
can
feedback?
you continue? Literally the noise.
But what's
you were just like, okay, I'm done.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Continue.
No, I lost my train of thought, bro.
Continue.
Anyway, I'll talk about some other stuff then.
Continue.
Wiz, I hold resentment for Wiz, because I feel like, based on I thought more things were going to be given to me based on that idea of that opportunity being the opportunity that it was, and less that I was going to have to create an opportunity, and the impetus was on me to do the work. And I feel resentment towards Wiz because I wasn't ready to come for that, to meet that opportunity and do the things that I was expected to do. That's my thing. So.
All right.
So you're not even gonna say what was not true or anything? Huh?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well that was a little bit anticlimactic. Did the viewers enjoy it? Sound
Bro,
off in the comments.
Maybe it's not for that. Did you ever think about that? Maybe it's just for you to be doing.
Whatever.
Well, it certainly made you moody.
It made me moody because you're not explaining what the lies were, and I didn't lie. I wasn't lying.
I told you before we started that I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to make the noise or say that as a lie. And I even told you to not refute because I knew you would get like this. I'm not saying.
I don't think there was any lies, guys. I think that she may have an opinion about some things, but I didn't lie to you on that thing. Did I?
Well, you're certainly butthurt.
I'm butthurt because you're like making an exercise where you're trying to call me out, but you're not even explaining why.
Yeah, and I won't.
That's great. So, okay, what's the next thing that we have on our agenda?
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit pissed that, it's just like, you won't tell me what's going on. You're calling me a liar, but you're not saying what I'm lying about.
Okay. So are you moving through that to something else, or are we going to just
I don't know, bro. I'm wondering what else is on the agenda. I mean, I have like, Jeja was going to call.
I have things to do.
I mean, what? We can move it into that if you want. Do you want to guess? You're the one with the agenda. What's next?
I was just asking what was up because you're in a poopy mood, and I kind of would like to continue with you in a better mood. And I would think that this would be a more enjoyable experience for us both if you could get over
I can get in another mood by just doing new things. I don't know what you want me to do. Right? Moving on to the next.
Well, there is something that we're doing next.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. I'm ready.
I'm just going to wait for you to not sound like a bitch when you're talking.
I'm just being real, bro. I'm ready for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ready.
Yeah, I'm totally ready. There's the meat and potatoes of this live, which is talking about the series that we've been talking about forever, which I'm frankly really tired of talking about. Part 6 of 12, so halfway now through, talking about our DayLife Army careers, past to present. You want to beatbox your way through it?
Well, what are we talking about on this episode?
So, there's a few questions that we can ask each other. I'll start with you with the questions that I have. We talk about washing belief all the time here. Anyone who's talked to us has heard about it because we ask and facilitate washing for every person we come across. That's how we expand the pleasure matrix. That's part of our DayLife Army job as a soldier is expanding Pleasure Matrix territory and therefore getting any and everyone we come across to wash belief in whatever way is relevant to them, and it is different for each person. So anyone can wash belief, but I wanted to get into a bit about what it has been like in our DLA careers to wash as a soldier, like in the context of being a soldier, how that's different, how different it is from someone who's just like a civilian washer, you know? So I guess very generally, like in your career here, looking maybe now for you, not the past so much, what is different about washing as a soldier?
Well, I have very little experience washing as a non-soldier because I kind of just, I didn't wash very much before I showed up here. But I think washing, instead of like, getting a call from a soldier once a week and making a wash, or like, even those who wash more often who are civilians or even URL soldiers and just like doing something, but then going and living, whatever life they have in the pain matrix. This is like we wash everything that we have, everything that we get, or we try to. I'm not saying we're successful at doing that. Certainly all the financial resources that come through us gets washed.
Yeah, that's no problem anymore. The troubling or hard washes that you're kind of talking about right now are like washing face, like losing face, washing lying, washing cursing, like washing having a good attitude about your day, like washing your attitude, those kinds of things, right? Or not.
I wasn't actually talking about that. I was just talking about we wash all the things, not everything that not everything gets all the way.
That's what I mean.
Talk about the thing. What is it different for you, bro?
No, when you were saying, like, I'm just trying to get clarity because you were saying we try to wash all that we have every day. That made it sound like you might hold on to a few like dollars here and there. It sounded financial. So I was clarifying, well, it's not so much that that's what is a trouble for us to wash entirely. I was thinking you were talking about other things.
Yeah, it's just washing in general, other kinds of washes. That, it's a struggle to keep washing all the time, but that's what we've committed to do. So we do it to the best of our, whatever our drive is that day to do it is, what we do. And there's always more to do. It's never enough. It's never, we're never done. It just kind of is something that grows, and based on your kind of like willingness, it just keeps on going.
Well, it's also maintenance. Like you're never done cleaning your house or doing the dishes.
Yeah.
Like you're not like, I did it finally all at once and I'll never have to do it again. Or
just even washing yourself, you can't just take one shower and then be done for the year. I mean, some people do.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
So you have not much context before, but
I mean, when I was before this, I guess some washing was like going on groups on Facebook and like, trying to I think I was doing some social ads at that time. I was doing some social ads before I showed up, and I was washing some money.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably made like a handful of financial washes before I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think when I showed up, I washed whatever finances I had left. But I wasn't like, I didn't have a relationship to this where as like a URL soldier or as a civilian, I was like washing regularly financially.
Mm-hmm. Whereas for me, I was washing financially regularly. Like I had a period of time where I was a URL soldier, washing from the pain matrix, like far away, not here yet.
What did you prefer?
I think that like with the perspective I have now, I much prefer washing in this Army IRL. I have a full support system. I have territory and perimeter that General Wiz has, like, and General Koa, but in terms of like thinking about perimeters, which men are the people who kind of maintain or create, I feel a lot safer washing here because it's a very vulnerable process. It's hard. And like, yeah, when I was out there, I had a more tenuous connection to this. I was in my pain matrix life. I was around people who weren't holding perimeters that were safe. And it was just more, it was probably in some ways the washes were maybe more meaningful at times in terms of where I was at that moment, because it was like really crazy for me to do. It felt really crazy for me to wash in the ways I was because it was such a difference. Now here I feel like nothing that dramatic happens because like I'm already here doing the thing. So like, and maybe in some ways I'd have to be washing a lot more to get that same feeling of like being super, like, not afraid, but like feeling like I was taking really big risks. But I don't know, maybe it's not supposed to be that crazy all the time. But yeah, like I remember being washing before I came here, felt good, felt scary, and I just had more, like, it made more conflict with my pain matrix life, because it is a thing that takes you away from the things you don't actually want, or in my case, things I didn't need to be doing. But I was still clinging on to
But
those
weren't
things.
you a pretty conflict averse person in general back then?
I was so conflict averse, and that's actually because I needed to have a lot of conflicts in my life that I had been avoiding my whole life. So washing brought those things about. So it was more just like bringing those things about for the very first time when I had no experience and washing was like new. It was way more of an uncomfortable, like in a loud way, uncomfortable, in a very literally, like, just like my life having very, but consequences can be like positive or negative. And in this case, they were positive consequences that were happening as I was washing, that were pretty like immediate, that were hard to handle on my own. And I had some support from afar from this cult. You know, I would talk to you, I would talk to Wiz and Koa, but that was by phone.
Well, you had like way more. I feel like our experiences were different in that your family was way more involved in your transition into this, in that, you know, everyone had an opinion and was like, you know, there was like all these people trying to stop you or whatever. My family was, you know, most of the conflict that has started with my family has not been because of anything that they did. It wasn't as much a reactive force. It was me like going and, you know, trying to stir stuff up with them while, you know, some of it was authorized, and then a lot of it was unauthorized, like on my last sort of like thing that I started doing with my father, where I was going and making memes of my parents that were crazy. That was not an authorized DLA thing. But you, like, my parents were pretty much like, oh, yeah, okay, you're joining a cult. You should not do that. But yeah, we'll drive you to the bus station and, like, yeah, have fun, you know? Yeah, they were just like, yeah, go. I mean, you're free will. Go do the thing if you want.
Yeah, and to talk about my difference in experience, but like kind of bringing it back to washing belief and how that was
Like
in
my
the
mom
beginning.
even went with me to the mall to like help me buy white clothes and stuff.
I'm talking.
What?
I was like in the middle of talking. You stopped talking, and then as soon as I started to say something else, you started talking again. So in a non-rude way, you would say, "Oh, can I like chime in? I had a thought I didn't finish."
Sorry.
So what was I saying? Oh, like bringing it back to like washing in the context of like coming here and versus being here now. Some of the washing was washing our reputations and like washing belief out of our original cults, the cult of your family, which is like things and ways you do or act or how you are that you just inherit and never like individuate from, or the ways your family can have control over you, or you can react against them to like be out of control, but both are like still letting your family control you. I feel like the ways that were really difficult for me to wash with my family in the beginning was like, as someone who cared so much about how I looked, appearances, and what other people thought of me, and being acceptable to my family, it was very much like they all were having group emails sent to me and the other family members being like, how to wiki how to deprogram a religious cult member. As if I wasn't in the email thread being like, well, she's not in a religious cult, so this might not apply, but what do you think of this? Like, crazy things were happening. Also, because I like came here in a different way, I kind of had, because of those fears, I more like said, this isn't a cult. Like, I didn't use that word until like maybe a week of being here or whatever. I don't know if you said that word.
Well, at first I like posted to my family as I was joining, like I was doing like an incubator startup.
So they drove you to
using
the bus station
cryptocurrency.
under
But they
that
knew it,
context?
no, they knew it was a cult by the time that I was getting ready to leave. They knew I was going to join a cult.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of like, yeah, you know. My mom told me that she thought I'd just be back, you know, that I'd do it for a month and leave. She was like, you're not actually going to do that.
Yeah.
Now it's almost been 6 years.
So, you know, I look back at that and I'm like, I was so barely able to handle all that stuff emotionally. Like the ways of washing like were way more difficult. But now it's like, in this army, the context of like washing as a soldier, it's very much like I've been training for enough time now that, yeah, none of those things hurt in terms of growth the way that they did back then. And like, challenges are less noisy and crazy because like we've been washing as soldiers for years now. Like our problems are deeper that we have gotten to, and I don't think there's no mechanism or there's no like pipeline in the pleasure matrix yet that can have washing be as fast and accelerated process as the army. What do you say to that?
I don't believe that there is one.
Yeah, so we took the only route towards washing as much as we have, as efficiently and systematically, really. Like you wash every day here and you're in an army that has orders and holds you to a set of standards and like schedule, really, so that you're like constantly being pushed forward. I wouldn't have pushed myself forward to like, sure, I could have financially watched from afar this long and like, I don't know what would have happened.
For the last 5.
I mean, technically, I could have done that. There have been people that have washed, albeit sporadically.
Not at the level you were washing.
Yeah, but I'm saying just people who have financially washed in some ways over time, like had a relationship to the pleasure matrix in this army for years, for as long or longer than I've been a soldier here. So that could
maybe it'd be interesting to call Jage now. You know, talk to a URL soldier who has been around for as long as we have, but has not, you know, he's been washing as long as you have been here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's been around for even longer.
Yeah. And yeah, we can call him in a little while. There's like a couple more things that I wanted to get to that I know how calls with Jage go. Like we'll get kind of off track or on another subject, you know, and I want to just kind of finish the stuff before we get to him. Okay. But that kind of answers what we were just talking about, kind of answers the like hypothetical, the question I asked, was going to ask you, which is like, is it more efficient to wash as a soldier versus a civilian? Yes, basically. And I mean, technically there could be some example of a civilian who washes it all in a crazy way, and that could be different. It's just not that we have experienced. Has there been as an effective an option? The only other thing I wanted to talk about is probably something that we've both been talking to each other a bit about today. And that is like the parts that we have liked about being soldiers here, the parts we've liked about our DLA careers and the parts that we haven't. And also recognizing that like the parts that we haven't enjoyed doing, but after the fact are grateful to have done or have put us in a better place, more likely. Just getting into that a little bit. You want to say stuff you've liked and not liked to start it off?
Yeah, I guess. I liked the whole kind of like join the army, see the world. I guess that's the Navy, see the world.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? Yeah, I like that element of it. I traveled a bunch as a kid or as a child and with my parents, and my job led me to kind of like fly a lot of air travel to different cities to do stuff. And, I've been on tour a few times, but I always enjoyed the part of like seeing the world type of thing. The one thing that DLA hasn't done thus far is take me out of the country, which is like the next thing I'm really jonesing for, is to go overseas and
Which you've done before coming here, correct?
I have. I've traveled quite a few times outside the country. Not exactly in all the places I want, not even close to all the places I want to go, but I've been plenty of places. So, I mean, DLA has kind of taken us. I've lived in like so many places now. I mean, like actually lived for multiple months in a lot of different places, like to where I actually got a feel for the city. And then on top of that, we've driven through pretty much the entire country. Only parts that I haven't done as a soldier, which I've done before as, a civilian, were like parts of the Northeast, which I've done most of anyway, just in my civilian life. But yeah, we really like saw the country. Like we have covered a lot of territory, a lot of mileage, gone from place to place to place, and I enjoy that. And I liked the context in which we were doing it, like in terms of like aspirationally working on scalability of something. Like what if we had, what, it's not just like seeing things, but it's like, okay, what could we
like
do with this? What could be done with these things? So with these places, these resources.
You look like you're going to sleep.
I'm tired.
Okay.
I lost all my energy on this live. It fell out the bottom.
Fell out your butthole.
I guess. Yeah.
I was gonna say, we've even talked about it here as we've been traveling. Like, what is there any other context like ours of people being on the road? We've talked about like maybe some truckers, but they're like, they have a payload and they're like going from A to Z. Maybe some van lifers, but they're like, they serve the YouTube algorithm. That's like what they're like monetizing their content along the road. There's like a different, there's no context but this for what we're doing and what we're like traveling and where we've been and how we do it. And I've really enjoyed getting to travel with a mission, not just like being on a vacation or something. Or
that comes next, bro.
Yeah,
DayLife vacations are gonna be lit. We tried
one and it was a bit of a debacle.
It could have gone better though.
Could have gone better, could have gone worse, to be honest. But yeah, like that part, I agree, has been something that I've really enjoyed. Just like the physical experience of living in America and seeing it in this context and like weird way of how we live, I guess. It's not that weird how we live, but just like it is also. It is. There's plenty of things that I haven't enjoyed. Most of those things have been washing in the moment where it was difficult, where the growth process was happening. daily washing that is like an upkeep kind of lifestyle, and as it's gotten more like measured, or easier is the wrong word, just like less chaotic, that's been great. The increased stability in washing, and us kind of like having a rhythm to it and getting into it and doing it more systematically in a way that's like not as like crazy and exciting and creative. But I still don't like washing when I don't want to do it, and the ways that I have to do it, because I'm like in an army and like I have to, get orders to do the thing, and it's like I don't really want to do that. I feel like I'm just like losing you here, and you're kind of just like zoning out. What would you say to that, Jesus?
I would say it's true.
Yeah, a little rude. So
losing my composure, or my ability to have composure on this life.
Why do you think that's happening?
Huh?
Why do you think that's happening?
Subject I'm just thinking about other things. Yeah. Thinking about other things.
Maybe because you haven't washed in some ways today that are making you.
I'm not thinking about those things.
Oh, what are you thinking about?
Just like things that I'm not willing to speak to an audience about.
Okay. Well, that's basically it. I think that we've covered the stuff I wanted to go over for that topic.
I think things that I've enjoyed is like the structure has been useful in my life to get me out of.
Get your feet off of that.
Certain...
Your skin is like left on the thing now.
Huh?
What was
it?
it?
Skin.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm embarrassed. Structure has been helpful for me in removing some of my worst habits. We'll say that. And I've also resented it quite a bit, the structure, but it has been very useful to me.
And neither of us have left, We wail and gnash teeth, but we're given plenty of opportunities to just go do something else. And we haven't, We've chosen to stay here through the parts that are difficult because there's lots of reasons why. Maybe they're different for each of us. I don't know. We were also talking about that today. But I think it's time to move on. Why don't you give Jay a call and go from there. If he picks up, we can have a convo now. If not, we'll just move on to the next. All right. Let's get up and do a little walkabout.
I'm ready to maybe take this off live. I don't know.
We haven't even been on for 30, 40 minutes.
Isn't that a fine amount of time?
No. We have not gotten to everything. And I don't think you being catatonic is like, let's just stop the live. I think it's like, let's have Jesus get out of his catatonia and get back into a mood, ride the wave into a different place, bro. Look at him. This is what we call depression. You did a little scare me there. You got me. Yeah, I was not expecting it. What happens when you're so good at having nothing going on?
What's the little puzzle piece icon in the live?
Where?
On Instagram, that puzzle piece.
Autism awareness.
Is it?
No, I don't know what it is. Do I need to press it?
Yeah, press it.
Games? Trivia? I don't think so.
Oh, let's do a DayLife trivia.
We do not need to do that.
We can do a little bit like what is it? It just gives you generates trivia questions for you?
I don't know.
Sounds complicated and bad.
You know what I'm excited to do? I'm excited to wash some clothes in the laundry machine. That's what I'm going to do today. And I'm excited about that.
Hello. Hey, AJ, we're on live. You want me to put you on speaker? All right, you're on the live, everyone. This is Jay Halpern, who is a URL soldier with the DayLife Army.
Hey, Jage, it's Mary.
Hey, Mary. Hey, everyone.
How's it going, bro?
Good to have you on here. Our strongly guest.
Things are going. What?
Our strongly guest. You've been, I think, on every one of these thus far.
Oh, yeah, strongly. You know, that's something interesting. I hadn't thought about that. You call it strong, right, to avoid the homophone of weak.
Yes.
That's very similar to what I would do. That was sort of because I would never do like magic spells, right? Harry Potter. It's nothing dark. It's nothing occulty. It's just I was constantly hearing, and mind you, I was also in New York, Long Island. Everybody was saying, "Man, fuck the Red Sox," and every time, that's not a word I say.
The F word?
I was constantly reading books, and I would take it so far as to surgically remove any negative word, which was frequently by cutting it out.
Yeah.
See, this is, I think, the difference is we don't actually believe negative words are bad or negative words are, like we don't use negativity, because if you've been around Temple long enough, you recognize that we sure do use negativity and sure do use that just as much as positivity. There's a balance to it. But my understanding, I'm not the one who does this or figures out what the words are going to be, or I have no say in that whatsoever. But for certain words have been taken and used to and perverted, I should say, to mean things that are not actually what they mean.
Yeah, if you say one word and it's a homonym for another word that's the opposite, it's kind of just being sneaky because you're saying one thing while they're getting you to say the opposite. So
it's a good point. That's the other thing I loathed so much in the 90s was this prevalence of sarcasm. It was ubiquitous.
Yeah.
No one would ever say what they meant.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
That was the most distinguishing feature of the 1990s for me.
Well, have you ever heard, Jage, our definition when Tumble had a website up, you can still look at it on the Wayback Machine or archived online. But the definition or the reason why English was used, I can remember some of it by heart, but not much. The written language is spells, and written language are even stronger spells, or even more so. And when you insert a U into words in the English language that are used as spells, it has a way of relaxing the words and putting an open container for listening. I just remember that part really resonated with me, the U, even the shape of it and how it goes into the words. It adds an open container for listening in words that are usually just not that. They're less of that or whatever. Anyways, I'll try and find it and send it to you sometime, the full explanation of English, but it might be interesting to you based on your past experience with words and language.
Have you ever tried writing in English, Age? I don't know if I've ever seen you do it.
I have not, but a thought occurred to me that I wonder if you considered, which is, do you think that unconsciously or not, that's the reason that Americans have removed so many U's from English words?
Oh, color and Yeah.
I would say
Yeah,
I'm sure
traditionally-
there's
Traditionally, in England, these words were spelled with U. We were used in America.
yeah, and I'm sure like there's a reason for that the people who create these things do, because a lot of U's are also changed to V's.
I get it. You know, they were the Minutemen, the Freemasons in Massachusetts were obsessed with letters
Yeah.
because they knew Kabbalah. So, like, you know, in the minutes of the lodge before they went to do the tea party, the minutes were just a whole bunch of the letter T.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably a letter there's this site or upside by writing these challenges called lithograms, which you may have heard of, because in English, are the most common letters.
Yeah.
And so I had to, the famous challenge is, can you even say a sentence without the letter E? But this guy, this book, Honest Champion Youth.
And
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, Jay.
yeah, is your Wi-Fi strong or something, or are you in good signal?
I should be. It matters a lot where I position myself.
That sounds okay now. Sounds better.
Yeah, for some reason, if I'm right by the piano, no go on the landline, on this phone service.
Right by the piano, maybe it sucks up the audio into the strings or whatever. I think, Jay, that you should try in the next, whether it be on one of your 515 reports or like on, you know, a testimony or on your next post, I would try writing in English, because
Definitely.
it's something that you've been around for enough years that, you know, you should just see how it feels.
Because
So,
it
like,
does,
try it out.
it does feel very different. It's powerful. Like
No,
this.
and you guys, it's a great message, and I agree with it, because I'm by far the most likely person to respond to it in an emotional way.
Yeah, because you're a little bit, you're a prim and proper guy when it comes to wordings.
You're breaking up totally.
You're very into diction.
Yeah, I totally have respect for language, and that's why growing up I would never use slang, never swear, never talk negative, right?
You ever watch that?
Even in jest.
You ever watch the movie My Fair Lady as a child?
No, but I know it, right? Yeah, he teaches us addiction. Henry Higgins, right?
Henry Higgins, yeah.
Henry Higgins. Right, that's what it was. And the kids didn't like me because that's the thing. They were all reading books. They were reading Harry Potter, which pissed me the fuck off, because Harry Potter is clearly derivative, and it's not like.
Have you read Harry Potter?
What?
Have
No,
you?
I would never read it.
You would never read it because it's a disrespect to, you know, your. It's a disrespect to Aleister Crowley.
Yes. But I'm not even older than him. He was a rip-off artist too, or he was a syncretist. But yeah, I like the real stuff. I like real language, real eloquence.
Yeah.
Real
So
proper use of the comments, because that implies a deeper understanding of accuracy.
yeah,
So,
that makes
English
that,
would be good for you.
English would be great for you, bro.
For
It
you
might
to try.
help you relax a little
It
bit.
would be good, right? I can see that, because a lot of people, maybe English doesn't even matter that much, because they're not even spelling that good anyway, right? They don't even put capital letters in their text.
Well, no, but English is not just being a retard. English is like, you know, it's not just.
It has specific rules. Like we would still capitalize every person's name in English, but we would replace most vowels with U's. You know, that's the only.
But not in proper. We don't. We. I struggle with this, Jay. Okay.
Well, even smart people, even intelligent, well-read people, when they text me the word "you," they will almost unfailingly write the letter "U."
Yeah, well, that is English technically. That is.
Lowercase letter "U," and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
It sounds like you're triggered enough to give it a try, but I have problems because I don't spell. I'm not a great speller. I actually, and if I really sat down and thought about it, I could probably spell words right, but just in the moment, I make tons of spelling mistakes, and I'm just like rushing to get through the thing, using a lot of shorthand from like my AIM playing World of Warcraft days where you have to like communicate.
That makes more sense because you're so bad at writing things out. That would make sense why that would happen.
What?
I just never put it together that you being online and gaming and like talking to people in like meat speak and AIM, you were very much more online in that way. In that way that it makes sense that you would do this now.
That's how I got fast at typing, was through, I didn't get fast at typing through taking a typing class or like being like, I'm going to learn how to type. I'm going to type so I can type my essays for school faster. The way I got fast at typing was literally AIM, talking to like scene girls on MySpace or like, or when I was playing World of Warcraft, getting in the group chat and saying like, no, I'm going to need that talisman and blah, 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 and doing that quickly. And you write as shorthand as possible, and it doesn't actually matter when you make mistakes. So I still do the shorthand, but I make all sorts of like super symbolic mistakes when I'm spelling, like words that are totally like, revealing other whatever Freudian slips everywhere through my spelling mistakes. And I get reprimanded for that all the time. So just English is not just like be a slob with your communication. It's quite the opposite. It's a very specific thing. It does not make allowances for spelling mistakes. It's just a way to write a way to write English, and it's like another thing. It's English.
It's a way to wash by typing in English.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good way for me to wash because it's so fast that everybody in my life is telling me to write, except for the ones who tell me to make internet videos. Because I have this phenomenon where I so enjoy speaking, but I don't enjoy typing. That's why I don't even like doing your paperwork.
Well, you can do all of your paperwork in English.
It'll be fun for you, bro. It'll be like you're like a Rosetta Stone guy.
I'll do my next weekly paperwork in English and see how that works.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
You'll probably make mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah. When you do, I'll let you know so you can get better at it, because there's a few things that you have to get used to. Speaking of washing, though, we have this kind of it is new. A new thing that we're doing where after people wash, there's what we call wear protocol, like wearing as in like wearing a piece of clothing. It's kind of like how the wash sits with you after you've done it, if that makes sense. Kind of just like checking in to see how the latest wash that you did, whether it be a financial wash or a social wash or another type, like how it's how your life has settled around that wash, how you've incorporated it or whatever, if that makes sense.
So it's basically a question and answer. We'll give you a few questions and answers. It's your choice whether you want to do this on live. If you're willing to do it on live, then we can do it right now.
Yeah, that's perfectly benign.
Okay. So basically, what we'd be going through is this is kind of to like understand your belief and where you're placing your belief. And there's 3 categories. So there's either that you're blaming, praising, or indifferent to. So we're gonna start blaming, praising, or indifferent to.
So there's
praising, like worthy of praise.
Yeah.
Blaming, as in I blame you for spilling the Cheerios on the, and then indifferent, like, it's
either way.
Neither one.
Yeah.
Basically thumbs up, thumbs down, or no thumb up.
Kind of,
yeah.
Well, it's not, it's what's going on for you right now. These things could change. Next week, you could have completely different.
Yeah, constantly changing. But it's about it's whether you're blaming, praising, or indifferent to these like 6 different things. So we'll go through each thing and you'll answer.
All right, already.
So why don't you
you
do it
you
since
can go ahead.
you want to do it since you facilitated the wash?
I thought we talked about you doing it for Jay.
Oh, okay. So in terms of you, I want to make sure you know the word we use for the creator over here is Yahuwah, and then the word we use for Jesus, because that doesn't actually mean what we mean, is Yeshayahu. They're like, those words don't actually mean, Jesus and God don't mean the things that we're referring to. They so that's what I mean when I say Yahuwah and Yeshayahu. So that's the first category: blaming, praising, or indifferent to. Yahuwah and Yeshayahu.
Well, I'm praising it.
That's how you feel right now. Got it. And yes, it might change depending, but right now is where we're.
No, that one doesn't change.
Okay, well, we'll see next week. Okay.
And then Lucifer.
Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. It has never changed yet for me.
Got it. And then next category would be Lucifer, Hasatan, or any other Satans or demons of any status.
Blaming, but I am very influenced by the Jewish conception of that, right, which is different than Christian.
Okay.
Because as you may know, Edon, in Judaism, traditional Kabbalah, the idea is nothing is rebellious. So actually, that is sort of the job that God gave, and that will eventually be destroyed, but is actually part of God's design. In which case, you might say it has a role to play too.
It doesn't mean that God wants you to praise, because you or that Yahuwah wants you to praise, because.
Yeah, Temple wouldn't even. Yeah, Temple wouldn't even refute that the great creator El created all of the Satans and Lucifer and Hasatan, and that they play a part in this realm.
And in the Kabbalah, it's a very clear purpose, which is to evolve our ability to master our free will, pure and simple. Like with Job, the classic story is Job. Job is not a Jew.
Are you okay there?
And God tests him by testing him, you know?
Yeah. So we would say, we would not disagree with that. We would just say here, as soldiers, we're trying to turn away any praise we give to those.
This is not. Let's not.
Yeah, we're getting
too
off topic.
This is agnostic. This is just a survey.
This is just a survey. So then,
I'll give you a slight nuance, but obviously the real answer is.
Got it. For the bureaucratic form taking purposes. Okay, and then the next category would be the pain matrix institutions. So Illuminati, banking, education, government, NGOs, the UN, just yeah.
Similar. It's a similar answer. Obviously, these overcome, and they are blameworthy. However, they are part of this similar test. Things that we are trying to transmute, and that in theory can be sort of
right now in your feelings, regardless of what looks good or should be happening or you want to be doing, in your feeling, would you be blaming those people right now, praising those people, or indifferent to those institutions, not people? Yeah.
The only answer is to blame them, and that's part of the test anyway.
And then what about? And none of these answers have to be like right or wrong. They're just how you're feeling at the given time. So then the next category would be pleasure matrix institutions, the UFED, the Galactic Reserve, Ghost Kingdom, etc.
I admit these are things I know very little about, so I have to say the proper things to withhold judgment, because I'm totally, I'm still pretty ignorant about what they are, but I suppose my inclination is to give them praise if they're, in contrast to the things that I'm blaming.
And then what about pain matrix losers? So that means whoever you think has less than, not meaning like personal value of the people.
You mean like people who are homeless, people who are struggling?
Sure.
Well, I praise them because they have the strength to have the fortitude to keep going. I mean, I have compassion for them.
Praised. Got it. And then the DayLife Army. So your direct reports, well, you don't have direct reports, but your commanding officers, the generals, just DayLife Army.
I praise for all you guys. I think it's a very productive relationship we have.
And then in a more specific, WICO, which is Wiz and Koa.
What is that?
Wiz and Koa.
With the coach. Yes, I mean, I have had relatively few interactions with them, but the ones I have have been very good. You know, I'd say perfectly reasonable. Even when they've been provocative, you know, it obviously hasn't been coming from the malign point of view on anyone's part. Even if we've had disagreements, I've never. Otherwise, I just would simply done away with you altogether. You know, not communicated anymore.
All right, so praising.
I think they're good people.
And then your family and or non-familial former social circles.
I have nothing but, it's quite interesting. My friend Scarlett was telling me to bear in mind the new ones. That I have nothing but the highest praise for my family and love for them. And even those, and that's kind of been the way I've been growing in my life. Because it is fair to say that the staff did blame everyone. I blamed the waiters and the losers, and I had no interest in being either one. I said, you people are all negative fuck, basically. Not that I would ever say that. But I acted that way, and I blamed them. That's true. I blamed everybody for misjudging me. I blamed the Red Sox fans for being negative and putting me in this position where I had to put out their shit. And I blamed people for listening to Nirvana. I blamed Nirvana. But I've changed. And what I've learned is that so much of it was my own fault. And a lot of that blaming was in a similar way that I'm going still, lashing out for my own lack of development. Because it's true. In the 90s, it occurred to me to be positive and not blame them. Like it's working so well now. It would have worked then. But it didn't occur to me then. I wasn't as mature.
Well, even in terms of timelines, like you're talking about, like years past and how you've grown over time.
Many years ago.
I would.
I definitely do the same. I want to get that. That's the distinction. Whereas I've never once changed in my feelings about God, the Creator, Jesus. I have greatly grown in how I feel about other people, you guys included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would.
That would be where my hang up lied, which was these people are so beneath me, man. They don't know shit. They're making it worse. They're fucking up.
I feel like your perspective on that has even changed within the last month.
And sometimes goes back and forth.
And for many reasons, including honestly the fact that they're getting to know so many people here in Westfield, which is such a different place than Martin Vineyard. I mean, that's a shocking difference between our lives. In spite of me being significantly older than both of you, I've experienced far less social interactions of any kind. Remarkably fewer.
And I just want to...
With a much smaller spectrum of people, and I've been fewer places. Like I was remarking to Egon before, it's interesting to me how mobile you guys are, how frequently you move to see different cultures, which has, informed you in that way.
Yeah, and I wanted to add something, Jej, because that's the WHERE protocol. It's over. We checked in and saw where you were how you were feeling about those different categories, people, groups, or whatever. But I wanted to note that we check in with everyone who washes, depending on how much they've washed, like a little bit of time after, a little bit more time after. And we do this with ourselves as well. We do this process, this WHERE protocol, because you're talking about things changing over time where years ago you had a lot of room to grow in how you felt about these certain things. We're also recognizing through this protocol that you're fluctuating in your feelings about these things, honestly, from weak or strong to strong. On a day where I'm feeling really triggered and angry at the world because I had a difficult moment or I'm just in a mood, if I were to honestly answer those questions, a lot more of those questions in the moment would be the blaming category for me. So we're not asking them for you to like make sure that you're in the right place and like look the right way as to how you would normally be at your best. We're just asking for an honest assessment because we do expect that at some times we'll check in with you and we do the same and you'll be like, fuck Wiz and Koa, I'm at a blaming stage with them right now. Or you know, like, I love my family right now versus like my family I don't really care about right now. Like, it doesn't mean how you are with those places or people.
Yeah, it's not like where you are at in your life. It's where you're at in the moment. And
that changes, you know?
That does change. We're not always, you know,
as good as we want to be or like as,
right.
You know, whatever. So that's just something I wanted to add about that. And I'm glad we got to do it over with the phone with you so you could, you know, try it out. And I'm sure it'll be happening later and those things might change. But yeah, that's all I had to say.
Well, I agree with. I mean, obviously, especially as revolves around human social connections, those are always a continuum. You're right, with ups and downs. But I will add again, the relationship with the creator has never fluctuated for me. That hasn't been subject to circumstantial changes. But you're right. Even with my family, even now, sometimes I have a little. You know, the feelings that do arise with my family will not. And maybe there is like proper blame that they do have. Which is that they did kind of, you know, not want me around. Mm-hmm. Which was...
It's okay to blame them for that. I mean, it's okay to, at some points,
feel that.
This was Carl was telling me, which is that it's just as I have blamed myself correctly, I also did some things right when I was young. Like not doing any negative stuff, namely. That was really good.
You didn't do any drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do any negative stuff at all. I didn't have sex. I didn't do any...
Whoa, you're saying sex is negative?
Sex is not a negative thing. No.
It's definitely something that you need to be ready for. And
my impression of it was, given my whatever circumstantial exposure I had to it, through how people would talk about it, was they aren't having any fun. They're having sex, and it sucks. Look at their face.
Well, that was probably on some level true about what people.
It was somewhat true. I mean, maybe 1 in 100 relationships I've ever heard in my life hasn't been a nightmare. Basically, and the one that has been is a real struggle to make as good as it is.
Are you working on your relationships because you've seen that statistic and it's so appalling to you?
Yeah, because I'm realizing, and everyone's confirming it, I actually do have something to share, namely about positivity and genuine appreciation of females, which none of my male companions seem to have. God bless them. I guess they were kind of short-sighted.
I'm just worried. Yeah, bro, but you got to figure out how to take that. You got to figure out how to take that legitimate appreciation for females and take it out of the friend zone. Because it's really easy for a good boy to be like, women are so great, I think they're the best, and just get put in the friend zone. And it's not the place that you want to be. So what you're trying to figure out is like how, if you have a legitimate appreciation for women, there's plenty of people who actually want that from a guy, but you know, it's a nuanced thing. It's not something that no one's going to tell you how to do it. And, you know, and it's also going to be, you know, you might be chasing the people who, you know, just want a bad boy because you think what you want is them, but really what you really want isn't actually that, because, you know, you want what wants you most of the time. Well, that's what we give attention to as the people. So, yeah, you know, you're in an interesting position, bro, where you, if you recognize that that's happening, now you got to figure out how to turn it into energy. Turn it into something that you can use.
Like last night, I had an interesting experience. I walked down the street relatively late at night to get an electrolyte drink. And there was
I'm jealous.
A new girl at the gas station. And she saw me walking crossing the cold. Nobody walks. And I had a big smile on my face. And she's like, from across the street, she shouted at me, "You look great," you know, and we talked. and I told her how it occurred to me that happiness is a choice. She said, "You are a beautiful person." So and it was bordering on flirtation. You know, we would close or make eye contact, just look other guys in the eye. And I know women don't do that. Just look me in the eye. Largely because, you know, it is friendly, but it's true. It's a continuum. It could, and usually does go towards the friend zone.
Well, it's what you do with it, bro. It's how you take that energy.
Right.
Do you take that energy and just be like, well, I'm this person's friend now? Or do you try to turn it into something that you really want in your life?
Yeah, so it's rekindling what I would do as a kid when I would get to Alistair Crowley mode and said, I'm just going to kiss this person and they're not going to stop me. How are they going to stop me? I'm just going to kiss them. And it would work. But then I was like, oh, that's a terrible thing I've done.
I think it's because of that terrible. It's because of that idea that festered in your head that you had done a terrible thing and that you fed that wolf instead of the wolf who was excited about kissing people. And I think because you fed the shame wolf that you're having a lot of the problems you're having now, and it's a hard wiring to rewire. But I think your key to success is on the other end of that. Okay, Jej, we're gonna wrap this part up because I think we're moving on to a few other things. But it was a pleasure having you on the live, and thanks for filling out those questions and doing the wear protocol.
And don't forget in a few days to do your next strongly forms in English.
And why don't you go and do a testimony in English right now, like as a try it out. You can do it about your most recent wash or getting on live and doing wear protocol. You can just do it about some wash that you've done in relation to the pleasure matrix. Okay, great.
Thanks for having me on. That was
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I just finished the dishes, except for the plastic bags, because that's my least favorite thing to wash. Same as you.
Okay, so I think we wrap this one up? Because I can do that part, I think, just as a separate thing.
On your own live. Okay. Anyone else to call while we're on the live? Or is that basically it?
I don't know. Who are the people that we have written down? You can point at the list if you have that list.
I do have the list. It is here, which I would say is getting sparse in terms of the people we've already talked to. And then this is the others.
Oh, yeah. I kind of want to talk to Bianca. Let's try this.
Please leave your message for 3234805.
Dun, 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 dun. It's darker on Instagram.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't think this person that you're calling has a working telephone number.
Why does it ring then?
Your call is
I don't know.
That might be it.
I tried that person and that person.
Okay. I think that's everything. Why don't you just go into your other live? You're saying I had it in the intro, and the thing is it would be on here, like on YouTube.
You can edit that.
What do you mean? Oh, I can, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go live on a different channel after a little break. So you can go and watch my live if you're watching this.
All right.
And that's on Slice of DayLife. Get in here.
You're moved too much. I can't get in there.
You were off and I was occupying the center.
Uh-huh.
This is a little bit of a rough one. It got kind of better near the end, but it was a little rough on my part.
Yeah, you were as you tend to get. You were a little rude and low energy, and a little not having the face loss. You're a little about it, but there's always something going on over here. ATM's always got a little flair for the dramatique. If you are watching this and would like to make a wash, you can DM me at DayLifeMary on Instagram, or I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, there's no way to really contact me on YouTube, but you can always email me at smamarymartha@daylifearmy.co and ask about how to make a wash or a pair of washes, a financial and a social wash, or just make a financial wash now, cash.me/washitall, paypal.me/washitall. And we will see that and give you next steps if you'd like to learn more about what we do, what washing does, and go from there. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thanks for
Thank you
hanging
for
on
joining
this
us.
all day live with ATM. That's
Everything.
That's a wrap, I suppose.